Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tabitha, and we talk about books and book-related things on this channel mostly. So yeah, like 3 weeks ago, Celestria tagged me to do this video, and I've started filming it on 3 separate occasions, and something went wrong on each of those 3 occasions.
Y'all are seeing this video a month late.
There are 11 questions in this book tag, and I thought it was really fun. I'm not sure who the original creator of this challenge is. All I know is Celestria tagged me in it, so that's who I'm giving credit to for me finding it. So the first question, starting out, is what is your favorite book of the Bible? I would have to say Acts and Proverbs. I have like a special love for Acts because when I was 7, I got this little Acts comic book, and it just like made me fall in love with that book, and I've really loved it ever since. That was like my first book of the Bible that I really loved. I also had a Matthew edition of the little comic book Bible for kids. I didn't like it as much for some reason. I just really loved that Acts book. So yeah, I would say Acts and Proverbs, just because Proverbs is full of such wise advice. Everyone needs a little more wisdom in their lives. Also, Acts is where Tabitha is in the Bible. So, yeah, not to brag or anything, but
Of course it's my favorite.
Question 2 is what is your favorite Bible story? Tabitha, obviously. But no, on a more serious note, I really love any of the stories about the women of the Bible. I just really find those inspiring. I really love what they went through and how they found Jesus and how they found God. I don't know. I just really connect with them, and I really love them. Okay, question 3 is who's your favorite person in the Bible?
Tabitha, obviously.
So besides Jesus, I would say Peter. He just made so many big mistakes and went through so many different struggles, but through it all, he was loyal to Jesus. In the end, he was loyal to Jesus, and he was loyal to his calling. And I find that very inspiring. I really think that he is a person that a lot of people can connect with on that level. Just because even though he was far from perfect, he was one of Jesus's most loyal followers. Answer number 2 for this question is probably Stephen. I think that his love and forgiveness towards people, even as they were murdering him, was so beautiful and inspiring. With his last breath, he told God, like, they don't know what they're doing, please forgive them. And like, that is the heart of Christianity at its core. And I think that is really beautiful, and I find him very inspiring. So Peter, Stephen, and also Tabitha or Dorcas.
Do not call me Dorcas. I will cancel you.
Also, Peter is the one that rose Tabitha from the dead in the name of Jesus. And so of course I have to like Peter. Duh. And just notice in the Bible, it doesn't say Dorcas arise. It says Tabitha arise, because Tabitha is the elite version of Tabitha. Does that make any sense? Tabitha is the elite version of Tabitha?
Do not call me Dorcas. That's all I'm saying.
Question 4 is what is your favorite Bible verse? And I would have to say for this, Acts 9 verse 40, which is Tabitha arise. Y'all, I promise I'll stop using this joke in a second. I love this. This is actually so fun. I've had people tell me that they didn't know that Tabitha was in the Bible. I straight up told somebody one time, I was like,
yeah, I'm not named after the Tabitha on Bewitched. I'm named after Tabitha in the Bible.
And they were like,
there's no Tabitha in the Bible.
And I was like,
I'm gonna turn to Acts 9 right now. I'm gonna show you, because I know it is. You're just illiterate.
I didn't actually say that. I have a heart of Stephen, a loving Christian heart, I promise you. I also really love Romans 8:28, which talks about all things working together for the good of those who love God. I think that is just a very true verse and a very important verse for us to remember in our daily Christian walks. I also really love Lamentations 3:22, where it talks about God's mercy being new every morning. I think that's also just an important thing for Christians to remember. That verse in particular has helped me a lot, and so I know that it will help someone else out there. Okay, question 5 is what is your favorite translation, Bible to read that you own. As far as translation is concerned, I really just go for the traditional King James Version or the New King James Version sometimes. It really depends on the passage of scripture though, because sometimes they're more understandable in one translation than they are in the one that I usually read. So it just depends on the passage that I'm reading. But as far as my favorite Bible to read, this is like a King James Version journaling Bible that I have. And I would have to say that it's my favorite just because it has so many places on the sides to make notes and highlight. So I would have to say this is probably my favorite Bible to read that I own. Yeah. Y'all, if you can hear that screeching bird, I think it's a mockingbird, just ignore that. I can't control nature. I'm really sorry. Okay, question 6 is, what is your favorite hymn, chorus, singer, or band? Okay, so I love anything from KB. I love almost any music by Sarah Reeves. I love Maverick City music. I love the band ISLY. I'm not sure if they pronounce their band name Isley or if it's ISLY, like the letters. I don't know how they pronounce it, but I really like them, especially their song Secret Place. That song hits me real deep in the heart. I love that song. Favorite hymn is probably Nothing But the Blood. That is a very deep and touching hymn. I really like that one. Also Amazing Grace, but I feel like that's the standard answer. So Nothing But the Blood and or Amazing Grace. Question 7 for this tag is, what is your favorite Christian movie? And when I'm telling y'all, I could have a whole dedicated video for this. I could have a whole dedicated video. This question was the one I was most excited about for this tag video. Basically, to start out, just to give you a basic rundown, any of the movies by the Kendrick brothers. Every single one of those is amazing. Courageous, Fireproof, Facing the Giants, Flywheel, War Room. Those are all fantabulous movies. If you have not watched any of them, I highly recommend. They're so good, I'm telling you. Also, the Kendrick brothers made a documentary called Show Me the Father, and it is beautiful. Even if you don't like documentaries, please watch that one. That one was so good. It really hit me deep in the heart, and I know it will for you too, because it was just so well done and so beautifully done. You have to watch it to understand. If anyone else has watched it, let me know. Also, I really love Return to the Hiding Place. If you've read The Hiding Place or if you've watched the movie The Hiding Place about Corrie ten Boom, this is not the sequel to that. This is a completely separate story that also took place during World War II. So the story is about Hans Pohle, who was a member of Corrie's underground youth resistance group. I'm not sure what the exact name of that group was. He was part of that underground movement, working with Corrie ten Boom. It's basically his story and what it was like being a member of Corrie's underground youth. It was really cool. It was really cool. And it had a very relevant message even for today. Also, Passion of the Christ. I know it took some creative liberties in areas, but overall it is such a good and touching movie. It was really good. Also, if we're going to talk about TV shows, The Chosen is so good. And I know that Celestria mentioned this as well. But The Chosen, y'all, if you have not seen it yet, watch The Chosen. Do yourself a favor and watch The Chosen. It is so good. That was probably the longest question, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I had fun with it. Question 8 is, who is your favorite speaker or preacher? And I don't know if I really have a favorite speaker or preacher. That's a hard one. I really like Billy Graham. Does he count? Billy Graham. I really love Franklin Graham, Operation Christmas Child. That whole ministry is so beautiful. Other than that, I don't really know that I have one. Other than that, there's a few that I listen to, but I don't know if I'd call any of them favorites or anything, if that makes sense. Question 9 is, who is your favorite Christian fiction and Christian nonfiction author? Obviously, Francine Rivers is definitely on this list. She's my favorite Christian author in general. And then as far as nonfiction author, I'm going to have to be basic and say C.S. Lewis. I really love C.S. Lewis's work. I also really love any memoirs, books written by real people about their own life. about how they either retained their Christianity through persecution or how they came to know Jesus. Like, I really love stories like that. I really love people's personal testimonies. Any kind of books like that, I really, really enjoy typically. Question 10 for this tag is, what is your favorite fiction and nonfiction Christian book? So I have a little stack of books right here that I'm going to share with you. These are all Christian nonfiction books that I have right here. So we'll start with those. First is Kisses from Katie. I loved this book. Just Katie's heart for the lost and her heart for the world is so inspiring. I really feel like she has that Stephen heart that I was talking about earlier in the video, that just love and forgiveness that is just so beautiful and inspiring and really shows the true heart of Christ. Like, I went through and I highlighted different areas. You can't see it because it's real light probably, but I highlighted different areas of it. It was so beautiful. I talk about it and give a more in-depth review in another video. I'll link that in the description, but this book is so good. You will not regret picking this up, I'm telling you. The second book is The Hiding Place, of course, by Corrie ten Boom. If you have not read anything by Corrie ten Boom, again, do that. She is so inspiring, and her story is just amazing. Again, the heart of forgiveness that is in this book, that is in Corrie's heart, is so beautiful. If you have not read this, you definitely need to. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Captive in Iran by Mariam and Marzia. These two Middle Eastern women end up basically being thrown into Evin prison in Tehran, which is infamous for its brutality. And it's basically telling the story of their experience in that prison and how they got out and the legal battle that they went through and the support that they had. And it talks about the people that they met in Evin prison, like the other prisoners that they met in Evin prison, and they shared the gospel in the prison. And it talks about how people were saved, and again, back to that verse, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. If there was one person in that prison that they saved because of their arrest, then it was worth it. And I think that they would 100% agree. They say very similar things in here, and I think that is so beautiful. It's not all pretty. I'm gonna warn you, it's not all pretty, but it's very good. So would recommend this as well. The next book that I have on here is I Dared to Call Him Father by Miss Bilquis. So this is a story about a very prosperous, well-off Muslim widow who comes to Christianity later in her life. I think she's between her 40s and 60s when she comes to Christ, and it talks about her son and her grandchildren and the community that she lived in. She lived in a very small, tight-knit community, and it talks about the repercussions that she faced, how she came to Christ, the people that helped convert her. It was really good. It was really interesting. And again, just her heart. She had such a seeking heart, and I think that God really loves that. When you have a seeking heart where you're looking for Him and you're looking for the truth and you're looking for answers, God respects that, and I think that He works with you on that. Yeah, I really loved this one. Would recommend. It's pretty short too, so easy to get through. So that is all of the questions, other than question 11, which is tag someone. But I'm going to throw in a bonus portion here, like question 10 and a half, which is, who is a real life person that inspires your faith? And it can be a person from the past or a person in your real life. For me, my answer for this is going to be Perpetua. If none of you have heard the story of Perpetua and Felicity, there is a really excellent documentary out about them. Also, The Torchlighters has a really good cartoon version, for kids, but I still really like it too. Perpetua was a young woman who lived in 202 AD. She was the favorite daughter of a very prominent man in those times. He taught her how to read and write in several languages. She was very educated. She was very smart. And she ends up coming to Christianity. Her and her servant Felicity walk that road together, and along with 3 others from their church where they were all baptized together. She's actually the first Christian woman to ever have her account recorded in her own words. So while she was in prison, she wrote about their experiences while they were in prison awaiting their martyrdom. in the Colosseum. I've just always loved her story. I've always found it very inspiring. When I was 14, I wrote a whole speech about it. It's such a long story, and I could like really go into it with you, and who knows, it might be fun to like do an actual like little video documentary thing. I would totally be into that. Just talking about her life and having scenes from like the movies and stuff. I think that would be really fun actually. Now I'm like getting ideas. So the last question for this tag video is to tag someone. And I just tag anyone who wants to do it. I think it would be really fun to see answers from Oshina. So Oshina, if you're watching this by any chance and you want to do this, I think that you would have really interesting answers for this. So I would love to hear that. And then Chrissy's Purple Library, I would love to hear her answers too. I think that would be really cool. I feel like she would have some really interesting ones too, so I would love to hear that. So yeah, I think that's all for this video. Thank you so much again to Celestria for tagging me in this video. It was super fun, even though I filmed it 3 times. You know, I'm sure there was a reason. All things work together for the good of those who love the Lord, right? I hope everyone out there has an amazing rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, or whatever other time of day it is for you. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye! For some reason, that felt very weird.